Hello, this is Max. This story is about a married couple who were invited to an exclusive psychological wellness program, but get caught up in a devil-worshipping cult. You can subscribe to the channel after watching. It helps us a lot in realizing the content. Lynn and Elijah receive an invitation to the Stauffen house and decide to go there together. Elijah jokes about being called to therapy, but Lynn clarifies that it's actually an exclusive mental health program. Despite Elijah's ridicule, Lynn defends it, mentioning that famous people endorse it. However, Elijah has doubts due to rumors about the strange doctor and the patient's secrecy. During their drive, Lynn's song plays on the radio, and Elijah expresses support for her career. They encounter an abandoned car on the road, and Elijah insists on helping, though Lynn protests. While Elijah checks the car, a stranger suddenly appears, steals Elijah's pendant, and disappears. Finally, they reach the Stauffen house and meet Joe, a writer Lynn has worked with before. Joe shares his reason for being there, going through his fourth divorce. Elijah praises Joe's work but shyly admits that he is a mechanic, although Lynn adds that he is also a talented musician. Tara, an actress, arrives in a limo and appears upset when she spots her ex, Joe. Inside the house, Elijah notices three paintings labeled the pride of life, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes. Elijah recounts a story from Joe's book, and they discuss the idea of outsmarting the devil. Their host, Dr. Frost, arrives and welcomes them, talking about opposing the Bible to discover their true selves. Frost then directs them to their rooms, but Elijah wants to stay with Lynn, which Frost refuses, emphasizing the importance of solitude for processing. As Frost guides Lynn and Joe to their rooms, Tara inquires about Lynn and Elijah's presence. Elijah admits they plan to get married, but Lynn has doubts. Tara thinks Joe might try to hit on Lynn during the weekend. Alone in his room, Elijah contemplates their relationship, looks at the engagement ring, and eventually ventures into an elevator that leads him to a mysterious floor. He hears voices, follows them, and experiences strange shifts between the house and the woods. During his journey, Elijah witnesses Frost dealing with someone who hasn't fulfilled their promise, and in his rage, Frost throws a glass that cuts Elijah's cheek. Elijah retreats back to his room, but Frost discovers him and makes a threatening remark. Elijah wakes up with Lynn next to him, and she informs him that Frost is gathering everyone downstairs. At the campfire, Frost encourages his guests to confess their sins to each other. Joe admits to loving wealth, and Tara confesses her dependencies. When asked about her sins, Lynn can't think of any, but Elijah denies being prideful, which Lynn contradicts, claiming he sees himself as a hero. To move forward, Dr. Frost asks Lynn to share her music, and when Joe mentions that Elijah is also a musician, they encourage him to play as well. Reluctant at first, Elijah admits that he might have been taught not to take pride in himself. Eventually, he agrees to sing a duet with Lynn, impressing everyone, including the stranger from the road who had aimed a gun at him but left unnoticed. After the performance, the group compliments Elijah's singing, and he claims that his song is better than Lynn's, sparking an argument about their music and relationship. Hurt by Elijah's comments, Lynn leaves, and Frost advises Elijah to give her some space. While on the balcony with Joe, Elijah opens up about his desire to be a musician, and Joe offers to buy his auto shop to support his career. However, Elijah declines the offer, and after Joe leaves, he suddenly collapses. In a dreamlike state, Elijah alternates between burying a body and being tied up. He sees Lynn's face on the body he's burying. When he wakes up, he searches for Lynn and finds Tara, who tells him that Lynn and Joe went out to buy liquor. Tara suggests that Lynn might be cheating on him, but Elijah denies it. He then spots the stranger in the woods and chases after him, encountering a grave-like area similar to what he saw in his dreams. Back at the house, Lynn and Joe return, and Elijah apologizes for his behavior. Joe reveals that he discussed the deal with Lynn, and she's on board with it. Suspicious, Elijah starts to refuse the offer but changes his mind after talking to Dr. Frost. He decides to take the deal, not realizing that the paintings in the house have changed, symbolizing the sins he's falling into. In his room, Elijah mistakenly climbs into bed with Tara, thinking it's Lynn. Tara convinces him that Joe is sleeping with Lynn and offers to show him evidence on her phone. Tara starts hitting on him, but he refuses. Despite his initial refusal, Elijah ends up sleeping with Tara. The last painting, The Lust of the Flesh, changes, indicating the three sins that have ensnared him. Elijah experiences haunting visions of himself involved in sinister activities, including burying Lynn, being tied up, and holding a gun. When he wakes up, Tara is missing, and he stumbles upon her phone, discovering videos of her repeated arrivals at the Stauffen house. To his shock, he finds videos of Lynn with another man, resembling the stranger from the woods. Tara attacks him with an axe, and Elijah manages to escape, but she and Joe pursue him, claiming Frost won't let him leave. As Elijah tries to escape, he ends up in the same eerie hallway as in his dreams. Frost taunts him for succumbing to all three sins so quickly and insists that their master requires him. Elijah eventually finds Lynn in Frost's office, where she confesses that her family, along with Joe's, made deals with the devil, requiring a yearly sacrifice of someone pure-hearted. Elijah is the 17th victim. Lynn reveals her inner conflict, as she wanted to end the deal but feared the consequences. Joe and Tara arrive and knock Elijah unconscious. They plan to sacrifice him in the woods as they have done with the others, but Elijah pleads with them not to go through with it. When he tells Lynn about the engagement ring he bought for her, she has a change of heart and decides to escape with him. While running, they reach a cliff, and Elijah confronts Lynn about the fear of her going to hell. He can't bear losing her and wants to save her. Lynn, feeling guilty, devises a plan to save her soul, encouraging Elijah to hide until midnight when the sacrifice is meant to happen so he can survive. However, Elijah is determined to save her and refuses to leave her side. With this determination, Lynn comes up with an alternative to save her soul. As Tara interrupts Lynn, she brutally attacks her with the axe, leaving Elijah in shock, reliving his visions of burying Lynn. He finally snaps out of it and flees. The stranger, Abe, finds Elijah and brings him back to the house. Abe shares his past experience as their sacrificial lamb and how Lynn had set him free, though he has been trapped in the woods ever since, burying the victims they killed. He advises Elijah to stall the others until the last moment and then use the gun to send them to hell. Elijah is panicked as Abe hands him the gun. Elijah is conflicted but points the gun at Abe until Tara approaches. He manages to escape in Joe's car and drives around aimlessly until he stops, thinking he's far from the Stauffen house. However, to his horror, he finds himself back at the same spot each time he drives away. Frost's voice haunts him, claiming he can't leave. Visions of Lynn releasing Abe flood his mind, and he realizes she was begging Frost to stop the sacrifices. Frost reveals that they must sacrifice a descendant of Wagner Moulton, who tricked the devil, and Elijah discovers that he is a descendant of Wagner. In Frost's office, Elijah finds a family tree and learns about Wagner Moulton's history. Lynn, bloodied, explains that they are only allowed to die if they don't renew the contract, and Frost reveals he had to pay the price for Wagner's trickery. The devil has sought a soul from Wagner's descendant since then. Lynn confesses that she didn't plan to fall in love with Elijah and apologizes for manipulating him. She believes she deserves to be in hell and urges Elijah to escape while he still can. However, Joe and Tara show up, furious about being deceived by Lynn and Frost. They realize that if Elijah surrenders his soul for them, they would lose their sacrifice and be sent to hell. The group argues, but Elijah threatens to shoot himself, which would result in no sacrifice for anyone, causing them all to die together. Frightened, the others relent, and Elijah is allowed to leave. However, as he drives away, he sees that Abe is still captive, which unsettles him. Nevertheless, he continues driving. Frost's voice plays on the radio, presenting Elijah with a choice. He can either save Lynn's soul or let Abe take his place. Stopping the car, Elijah finds an envelope on the floor, containing crucial information that helps him make a decision. While the others are preparing to sacrifice Abe, Elijah returns and, together with Lynn, holds Tara and Joe at gunpoint. Though they cannot be killed, getting shot would incapacitate them and disrupt the sacrifice. Following Elijah's orders, they release Abe from his restraints. With Abe freed, Elijah announces that he will sign the contract to save Lynn's soul. Upon hearing Frost's offer, Elijah hesitates but ultimately accepts the contract. However, before signing it, He turns to Lynn and asks if she will marry him once this ordeal is over. Lynn happily agrees, and Elijah humorously remarks that their couple's therapy seems to have worked. With the clock ticking down to midnight, Elijah prepares to put his blood on the contract with the sacrificial blade. Lynn expresses her love for him, but Elijah already knows their lines by heart. This suggests that everything that has transpired was part of a script or plan. In a surprising turn of events, Elijah points the gun at the others and accuses them of exploiting his hero complex. He realizes that they knew he would never willingly sacrifice himself, so they crafted a deceptive plan to manipulate him into saving all of them, including Lynn and Frost. Elijah discovered evidence of their deceit in the papers found in Joe's car, which essentially served as their script to convince him to sell his soul. As the clock ticks down, Elijah questions Lynn about her love for him, but he still feels uncertain. In a moment of panic, Elijah runs, and Lynn tries to shoot him. Unfortunately, Tara, Joe, and Lynn collapse as they miss their chance to offer a sacrifice. Frost, however, survives and threatens to pursue Elijah's descendants to drag one into hell. But suddenly, Frost coughs up blood, and the devil takes him into hell, as it was his last chance. In the morning, Elijah buries the bodies, leaving the engagement ring for Lynn. Later, when Tara's driver arrives at the Stauffen house, he finds Elijah, but lies that the actress has already left. Elijah requests a ride, and they drive away. He mentions that he has written a new album and finally feels confident in his musical skills. Unbeknownst to Elijah, Lynn was able to shoot tape just in time, fulfilling her sacrifice. She now takes Frost's place and welcomes a new group into the retreat at the Stauffen house. If you are interested in such films, please proceed to the next video on the screen and also share your thoughts about this film in the comments. Give us a like and subscribe. Goodbye.